I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a...
In that case, I'll go order for...
Ooh, everything looks so good.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make...
And if it's...
Well, then...
Yeah. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory.
Oh, true.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know...
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed...
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move...
Ugh. If only that guy could have...
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might It's not that I don't have faith in their ability. It's just that a different It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required, which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through. Where their watch It's all right. Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended.
I see. So, your primary objective, I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time.
Well, would you consider some more, unique ways?
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you.
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play, don't you think?
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act and...
All right, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions. I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleeping...
That might work, but that...
Valid point. I overlooked that part. I was... all right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... Oh, I don't know. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know...
Huh? Paimon, did you...
Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention.
No, it's fine.
All right. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fonta anyway.
Is that so? If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're... Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Nah, that would be so normal. You know, like you.
Okay. As for expenses that...
Hey, Navia, what are you...
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Let's get ready to...
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're... in any case, I wish you smooth sailing.
See ya! There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like the...
Vache.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Ugh.
Vache?
Hey, why are you still walking? Huh? Hang on. Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Vache, are you... my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know my memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land? Yes, that is what I was once. I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being I also, no matter where I went, Vache would go with me. But now... No! Our reunion no longer has... The thought of me gives him no succor. If you meet Vache, tell him not to look for me. Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters. If only I could have comforted him. Told him that I did not suffer. Is that what you call it? It was a state of neither fear nor frenzy. With only... I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world of endless... I think I hear your companion. Farewell, then. I am glad...
Wake up! Come on, hurry! Navia's outnumbered!
Demoiselle, look out!
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex. Chlorand? Quick, now's our chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Clorand. But before I do so...
I followed you.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge...
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety.
Do not speak!
Sorry, demoiselle.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech.
Sorry,
Whatever. What else do you know?
I doubt I know much more than you. But I believe your performance tonight will almost certainly...
I'm sure they've known about me. And what about these Gardamex?
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are... I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy...
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina...
Yes. Be careful.
I will continue investigating, no matter what. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clorand.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clorand was being sincere with you.
I know, she's...
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were done for! Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were on... Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clorand who came out to save us too! We got lucky there.
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. Not for me, anyway. In truth, I hope that, as such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
It will take 50 years.
If it were me, I would have joined.
All right.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger?
Well, to be honest, you're...
Huh? Really?
Yes. All thanks to you grabbing... After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said, that the Fanta tasted kinda salty and icky. Fanta only comes in sweet flavors. So how...
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial sea?
Yes. So it...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving the boss.
Huh. Really?
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger.
But why would they go after us too? All we did was...
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of. Speaking of which, did anything
Well, it can't be a coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too. But it was real faint. Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to...
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
New intel? While you...
Well, let's hear it, shall we? Oh. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell, since he saw that young woman dissolve, but he never gave testimony or any information regarding people. Yes, thank you. This is very... Oh, you mean...
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us...
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases, shall we? We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners.
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
It's right up ahead, but...
I've been keeping watch, demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone
Very good.
I shall find rooms for...
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's
This is your base? It's not quite what Paimon...
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support...
Seems like it's tough times for everyone.
To be honest, our financial situation...
Your father...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to...
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, this 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor, instead of standing trial.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial, but strangely, he not only that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel. 3 years later, how could he protect his honor? If he's dead, the closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so...
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind I must know what really happened. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died, and now, here I am investigating his death.
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do, anything at all.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you, Demoiselle. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that.
Wait! If Callus was such a good man...
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from...
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the...
There is one other thing.
Oh! Her? Well, then... Yeah, that's not the sort.
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable. She knew Master Callus beforehand, and there was only.
It's not that I don't.
Don't worry, Navia.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Yes, that is our understanding.
Oh, Papa. All right. Anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will ensure you rest soundly. Whether it be responsibility for Spina di this won't do.
Paimon slept so well. This place feels almost too safe. Huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our—
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get— but never mind that.
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating—
Wait, so you didn't sleep at—
How could I?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. I suspect that those behind this have already taken—
Does that mean—
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Font, and that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. If the Oceanid you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some related information there.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? In that case, let's go
No, it... The Palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Huh. This place does look—
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you...
See? They've got great...
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can...
No. What I meant to say is...
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the...
We're here today to report an archive...
Huh.
Of course. Don't worry.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Thanks so...
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Neuvillette. We only lied to get in because—
It's all right. Please let...
so you're not—
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness...
Ah, I see.
Who knew that Neuvillette would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache... There are no records of him either in the files or...
Traveler, what if it was really...
Is that so? All right.
Him. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly...
And what? Are you trying to console me? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. It's just like last time. After my father took his place, you even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life, if you truly regret my father, why didn't you give me the power to stop him from everything? Was hanging on a thread at there are still so many things I never got to tell him. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes.
I'm sorry.
You and my father are truly alike. It's not so much that you can't feel. Oh well. In any case, my apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went...
Now that I think of it, on the day my...
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Well, that thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? Yeah! And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad.
I really think I found a All right, let's go to Poisson. With this...
Yeah! We're gonna make progress!
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great.
Whoa! What a huge ship! Why would a ship be...
There's no need to be so surprised. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless...
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the suit. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself...
Well, Poisson is where Spina... Melus, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and you said before that you still had some business at the court.
About that. It's because my partner, you still remember, right, Malus?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney.
Could you tell us a bit more?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called at a glance, it was a kind of drink that could...
Wait! Didn't that guard guy...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that if you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability and if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath. But no matter how much, not only that, Boss became determined to find the master.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the... Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing that night. My father hosted a banquet at his country's... But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue... Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all... But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely. I think this third person... On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, our opponent is insidious and cruel. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson, there is no need to follow your father's...
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect... Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. Did he think I'd just accept his... I've never accepted that. Ever. I want to find out the real answer for...
Davia.
This is indeed the best moment to act.
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that... But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle...
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been done, and the serial disappearances case cost him 5 years. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right. So nobody would be able to get...
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the others...
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the Unfaithful were still...
So he chose to die...
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone, I'm sure he'd be
No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am? Yeah. I suppose that's true. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. Malus, What was the key evidence that—
It's the location where Sin, when he was threatening the enemy boss, didn't share the But if you want to use it against the enemy,
Why? If we know where the place is...
you mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and there's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they...
That's true. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's—
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this.
I am the butler, after all. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk.
Thank you for all of that, Malus.
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep... If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. After several rounds of testing and investigation, the first is Florent, Spina de Rosula's...
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans. There's someone else like him, too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss, in the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're...
So, they're like a sister organization of...
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the Sin, it's a bit difficult.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry.
Of course. And...
You're too kind, my lady. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's cave. If it might help, you could all...
Aw, thank you so much!
a new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together.
It is settled, then. Please...
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss.
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques?
You don't understand.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I know only the full truth could
I'm sorry. On the matter regarding my husband,
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could.
They found out.
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could... Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callus had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what he had done.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy? Papa always wanted to be a...
Well, things aren't always as they...
Yeah.
Then you should hold on to that. Regardless of whether he left you a parasol.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me.
Thank you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that.
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the way, so please don't worry.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House?
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists...
It also reminded me. After my partner here put the dots together, can you do me a favor and track...
Let me think. Mr. Callus was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with us at the table. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. But when I got there, it was already too late.
So you also remember...
Indeed. The guards said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a...
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra... The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying, Mr... But hold on. If he didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel, did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand. I'll tell you everything.
I understand. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to, no matter what others might say.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades... Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've got news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I...
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that?
I mean, where I work, Callus did a fantastic job running the town. buildings, it would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high anyway.
Ah, yes. These two. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people could... If you want to go through the original files...
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
Of course. Without that, why do you ask?
Well, you see, just so... if you, hypothetically...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to... If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Jokes aside, I'll be staying in the city for a little while.
Hello. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel.
Sure. I will let him know.
Ah, Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about...
Yes, I've...
Oh, you were at...
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew? I also witnessed your marvelous... To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf. I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as an...
Uncle Marcel, you've also know...
Yes, I was reminded of your father.
Exactly.
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to... If not for the vigilance of my partner...
Oh, you're giving us...
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. Do you have any new thoughts on...
About that. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet. So I was out and about the whole time, making sure things were running smooth. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Florent mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance. That makes sense.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received—
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew—
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father. Makes sense. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then?
Given everything that's happened but who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the Confrérie, it's still really hard for me to imagine, though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business? Florent? But as Spina di Rosula's advisor...
So you're saying he's too—
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would... Thierry, you say? Huh. But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to prove if the mecha were taken from the guard.
Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these 3, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of the suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that we need far more solid proof.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been...
Huh? Aren't you—
Yeah. News came from...
Wasn't that place built specifically for
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had any—
That's what I thought was strange about it. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the—
Right. Because they'll think—
Yeah. And it'll be a lot—
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus. You're right. This is our best opportunity. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make—
We'll help you, just like—
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver. When did—
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson. It's our hope that you're confident.
Thank you so much.
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Araneas, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth Ah, you're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton. Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to
It would appear that I must repeat my question. Do you accept the charge that you are the true
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system. However, I did hear that people who have... In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I've got to admit, that's one of the When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointment.
Hey! Don't you understand?
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the opera. Then why don't you duel me too?
Alas, it would appear that communication with the In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again.
That case had nothing to do with... Huh? What's... Why is she...
I told you it could...
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court, but that was an exception rather than standard court protocol.
Oh, please. We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to... And if my charges prove true...
Oh. A young lady has charged in and offered to clear... So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia.
That person... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières!
Huh? What confrérie?
I've heard of them, but...
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly... And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances...
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Members of the guards, please contact Mr... Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. I think an attorney won't be necessary.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived...
I would like to take everyone back to only through elucidating what really happened in that case.
Navia, come on. Why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both... If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet...
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. Exactly correct, Your Honor.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they conclude the suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarande in the ensuing duel. These are the known facts about...
the one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, in truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. However, we should revisit the case now. The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of it. However, in the end, he reconsidered, and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to... Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had... A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques but now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their... This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea?
What a great theory. It also...
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged.
But I think I agree with everything Navia...
Then, may I ask some questions? 1, do you have the evidence to back up...
I'm afraid... I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. We should be able to find him. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time.
That makes sense to me.
Why do I feel...
Maybe she's scared of him.
Alternatively, she's become more...
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. Then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were the dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important... My father could have exposed it for all to see. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a...
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter, but what good would that do? Had this opera house ever given my father any but by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, and once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do—
So, you mean to say—
That's right.
Do you have an—
Of course, all you need— I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your— But since he entrusted his will to you,
so—
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the
Right? What she said was fascinating, but—
Wait, weren't they just talking about the series?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases— In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. I'm used to it, though. You've always—
No need to appeal to
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if— On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control— No, I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an— But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also— Do you know what the biggest flaw—
I suppose you're gonna tell—
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's pick. But the disappearances began before I ever—
I do apologize.
No.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the
Seems like she got the wrong— At this rate, Navia will—
I think you've done a superb job of But aren't you going against all of his wish? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into—
This isn't just about me. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearance, many people's images are— And whose image is it a man named—
Huh.
Oh, so you—
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never—
I was waiting for—
Wind strike! Fallen leaves, adorn my night! The wind knows me.
The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Time to go.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Retribution! As one with wind and cloud! One with nature!
Thunderclap! Just like we rehearsed!
Into the wind!
Now the path is clear! Let's go!
Time to go. Time to go. One with nature. Fallen leaves. Adorn my...
Take this!
The wind knows me.
Take this! After all that, we finally made it to the inner... Though, as expected, the mastermind... That's right. What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Huh? You mean the girls from the series? And then they were... And all the boxes of things. These names. That means... Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all the synth. If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth. But Paimon will take notes on this and... Let's see what's written here. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be... Yep! This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to certain members of his organization. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. They're all... What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the primordial sea. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 20... Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just that Paimon's never read some... How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact... You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did all of these experiments. But did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was no victim. No, that's not it either! If that's the case... In any case, Paimon will write it all down. Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of... Mixing in progress. Ready to drink. Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep! We've looked at almost everything here and it's... Yeah! We haven't found anything that reveals... No wonder even Nervalette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed it that way. Even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be a... Sure thing. You take that side and Paimon will take the... Ugh. Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Vinier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then you found her diary. Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She... he just Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old.
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Huh.
Oh.
I've merely surprised.
I was waiting.
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my—
Just how often do you
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence,
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vacher.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair, and after your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women. You even created Marcel as a new—
So that's it. Even the villains, and with that,
this information regarding your past also— Well, Marcel, you fixated your gaze on the lover that— So, you never noticed how—
You also never understood, boss.
For our determination to see things—
You're determined.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself.
Do you think? Do you pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever— No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, they said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone— Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate op, and Vinier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, but I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't—
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't— Do you all see? I can't go! I can't— I did all of that. And in the end, I spent my entire life living on pins and needles!
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody— Vinier, please, Vinier!
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear.
Fine by me.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vinier. During an underwater expedition, Vinier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of— To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce— However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and after exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate them. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of— Thus concludes the enigmatic history. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charge. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Vacher is guilty.
guards, take—
Good. It's
With that, this—
We really just witnessed history.
Yippee! We have now— He's heard so many in it— Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were—
The day our late boss had always hoped for.
Yeah.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got—
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
Ugh, what now?
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to—
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary?
Please respect the laws of
all right, but this sure is—
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that the guilty party has been identified, and thus it is— We now turn to the Oratrice According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Tartaglia is guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not— What's with this verdict?
Huh? This has never happened before.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty—
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is, by law, the final. Guards, please take—
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules, all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
What? I don't know what—
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not?
My dearest citizens, don't tell me you thought—
But the way she looked just now, it was—
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an and. Of course, for every If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial everything he's done, all shall be revealed in time. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging—
So she chose to make her escape after all.
So you're saying we shouldn't put—
She probably just put on that performance to save face. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as—
All right. Even though we feel— After all, he's— Oh, Monsieur Neuvillette!
I'm the Chief Justice of Fontaine, of course. If—
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you—
Stop resisting arrest!
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vache? I erased all records of that name.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? The Fountain of Lucine? Then... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile?
This request is...
Of course! Wait...
Humans. Well, very well.
Your Honor,
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall...
Thank you! Thank you!
Lady Farina hasn't changed one bit. Isn't that Charlotte? Who's your friend, and what are they chatting about?
Be pleased with the cherry on top, Charlotte. I read that a gang of criminals tricked the Gardamex by disguising themselves as blubber beasts. I've invested all my savings into Graph Adversarial. I'm begging you like the beggiest beggar in all of begdom.
I need you to calm down a little, Miss Lapine, Pauline. I admire your passion for your research, and but I'm afraid I'm not joking. The Blubber Beast incident was a short story mailed to us by an anonymous amateur author, written in the style of a true story.
It sounds like they're just discussing a story, but why does this Miss Lapine Pauline seem so distressed?
Funnily enough, I actually remember being in a meeting where the editing team was debating the potential risk of misleading the public with this story. They even went to Maison Gardiennage for advice. But to our surprise, they fully supported us printing it. They figured that in truth, Gardamex are extremely sophisticated in their capabilities. They can identify criminals just as reliably as the best human guards, so a crude disguise isn't gonna get you far. If anything, since we ran that story, the Maison Gardiennage has made a slew of arrests, so I knew this story had helped out law enforcement. But this is the first time I'm learning of an innocent citizen being deceived.
Uh-oh. She really sounds like she's in pain. Hey, Charlotte!
Traveler, Paimon! I was in the area taking some photos for a story when I got to talking to Miss Lapine Pauline. She read an article in the Steambird about a criminal who evaded Gardamek detection by disguising themselves as inspired by this story. She spent a lot of Mora researching counter-criminal image recognition technology. Her aim was to improve Fontaine's public. She was hoping I could write an article to spread awareness about image recognition technology. She even paid me for the article and gave me one of her but unfortunately, it was just a fictional story, and her efforts and aspirations were all in vain.
This is a new situation for us, too. It's such a pity. It seems like the author was only trying to make the story interesting, and the Maison
Wait, Miss Lapine Pauline?
I'm gonna pick a fight with a Gardamek, head to the opera at Biclez, and get a one-way ticket. That way, I won't have to repay my debts.
Whoa, there's no need to go that far. I mean, come on, look at you. You wouldn't even dent the Gardamek's armor. Actually, instead of going into the technicalities of that...
270,000 Mora.
Okay, well, escaping to the Fortress of Meripede over a sum like that seems like a last resort.
Sure. Not anymore. I used to be an equipment supplier to the Fontaine Research Institute before that blew to pieces, and now I'm just a small-time engineer. I scraped together some savings over the past few years, but I put every last Mora. It's not just my savings that are gone, it's my whole future as a... My life is over.
Don't despair, Miss Lapine Pauline. This prototype you've given me, the camera lens for image recognition sample collection. The rapid focal length adjustment is a very useful function in its own right. It's sure to make many So your research efforts thus far are by no means in vain. The technology...
Really?
Absolutely. I've been working as a journalist for the Steambird for a long... So keep calm, take heart, and start thinking about mass production. In the meantime, I'll show your invention to all my colleagues to drum up interest in your product.
If this is true, then I can look into setting up a whole camera lens development. Maybe I should consider taking out another loan.
Come on, stop daydreaming about your pipelines for a minute. Just take it one step at a time and...
And I can probably speak to some people I know and license my image recognition device to a work... There's no time to lose. I need to get to work. Early bird gets the worm.
Can you believe her? Paimon's pretty sure our advice went in one ear.
It's understandable. When inspiration and passion strike at the same time, But don't you worry. Her research has the potential to benefit the entire journalistic community. I'll give her plenty of input to stop her from going down any rabbit holes and make sure mass production...
It's reassuring to know that you'll be looking out for...
Actually, you know what? Why don't you two take this... It takes the right person to get the most out of a new technology.
Thanks a lot, Charlotte. What a nice surprise. We were just...
You're welcome. I got some... The boundaries between real news reports and news-like fiction must not be... Yes, that's how I'll phrase it to the editors when I give them...
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that...
Vache.
Ah!
Yes, that's it!
Vignere, it's me!
Vache?
I'm here! I'm here!
Hey, wait!
Vignere, is that you?
Vache? Why did you...
It's been more than 20 years, all this time. Oh, I must be dreaming. Vignere, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could live without you.
But Vache, if you ask me, this world... If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the... If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of... It's all because of your...
You... Wait.
You're right. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses, our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea. I'm Cressy. I'm the only one I am not.
Why? But...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness, Rob! But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what you became? You are a liar. The only thing you are not. From the moment your first victim died, and her consciousness merged with Vignere's.
No!
You still don't understand. When I said don't, but on top of that, she said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no...
Vache.
Vache? 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able...
Well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up and...
Even this weather can't...
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia!
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to...
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia.
It's just been one thing after the other. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held a memorial when he first died, since everyone... This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people...
So his name's definitely...
It's been the dearest...
That blasted stubborn fool. I was right to put my... Oh, by the way, I ran in... well, maybe it'd be more accurate...
Huh? So you know Sharon?
Yeah. Way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, I believe the story was called The True... To be fair, though, she was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece.
Oh, yeah. She told us about that.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence, that you both sound really cool.
Now that's another thing to look forward to. We trust Charlotte's skills with a pen for sure.
Oh, and in other...
Oh, are you two on...
While you were investigating Vache's head, it was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clarette...
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin to... Oh, actually...
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave, and on top of that...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to go too!
Sure thing. I'd like you two to share the moment with me.
And in that case, everyone, let's be off. Considering...
Yeah, you're right. This is where my father's grave is. To be...
Huh? There's some... Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked.
Don't say that.
Sorry about...
Oh, I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still,
In that case...
You really could in any case.
Well, ever since that day, there was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be... Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing more. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappeared. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and in the end, from a certain perspective, a justice that's higher than life itself. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. I should have noticed all of this much sooner. This regret has filled me with a sadness. That high and mighty chair in the opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your heart.
So, you're actually one of...
Sorry about that.
Didn't I just...
So Navia... Let's not disturb them for now. Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Huh? Oh, Paimon didn't know that was... Oh, no. Paimon Anyway, Nervalette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so...
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respects to her?
We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we just followed her here.
I see.
Well,
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be...
So, at court, the back...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only... There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea.
Huh. So it really was where everything began.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant from a truly ancient age.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Nervalette.
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture love... To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Farina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the... Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was...
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to... Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon...
A prophecy? Of the former...
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels... Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken... If the rumors were true, then perhaps this
But with Farina being the way she is...
Is there anything else? My apologies. However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was... For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on each case. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely also possesses other... Which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation like this for a long...
So when Lenny
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that... In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a method... Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui... If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation...
Is there anything else you... Your sibling. Another If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our law. Is there anything else you'd like to ask? Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Nerval.
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well.
All right. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped. You know, we've been walking around for a while now. Why don't we go back to the Spina di Rosula base in the court of Fontaine and have a rest? Navia said something about having a place ready for us there. Didn't she? Come on, let's go!